Guys, what is up? It's a special day for me because another watch has just arrived in the mail. And before you think it's gonna be something crazy like another Tudor, it's actually a pretty affordable watch, but it's a really cool, quirky one. Let's jump into the unboxing and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the Seiko SMW003A, better known as the Seiko Metronome watch. As the name says, this thing can pulse all the way, or keep time I should say, all the way from 40 beats per minute all the way up to an insane 304 beats per minute. If you're a musician, and for somebody like me who was a former DJ, this is absolutely the kind of thing that you could geek out on. So I had to get one of these watches as soon as I saw it. Now, they're only for sale in Japan, but fear not, North American friends, you can easily import these guys on eBay, and they are extremely affordable. They're like 200 US, 250 Canadian dollars, and they come in a variety of watch faces. I purchased the one with the white dial, but there are a myriad of available colors. I've seen it in black, I've seen it in like a deep blue. Now, this watch is not only sleek, it's not only a kind of dressy watch, it flies under the radar and nobody would ever know that this thing is packing a pretty cool punch, pretty cool feature under the hood, unless you really knew to look for it. At 36 millimeters in size, it's a little bit small on my wrist, but I think that just accentuates the dressy look. And if you have a smaller wrist, you are definitely going to enjoy this. It's going to look great. It could just be used as an everyday dress watch with a little bit of an added feature. How do you use it? Let's get into that. It's actually pretty straightforward. So at the top on the left-hand side of the watch, you have the sound button, sound on and off, and you hold this to get into time set mode. Going across to the other side of the dial at the top right-hand side, this is the plus or up button. So if you're setting the time, of course, this is taking the minutes around the face of the watch. If you're in the metronome mode, this is increasing the beats per minute. At the bottom left side of the dial is the mode button. This is how you actually toggle all the different functionality. So you press on this to switch from timekeeping mode to metronome mode to reference tone mode. Press and hold, you'll enter the metronome function. At first, it's just going to pulse back and forth. The hand will sweep back and forth, but by default, the sound is off. So pressing the sound button, again at the top left of the watch, is going to trigger the sound on and off, and that is what's going to give you an audible metronome. While you're in the metronome function, pressing the top right button, again the plus, will increase the speed, and at the bottom right is the decrease speed, which will slow down the metronome pulse. Now the reference tone mode doesn't have as many functions as the metronome function does, but essentially it's a tuning function. So it plays 6 different tones that you can then tune your instruments to. I don't know which instruments can be tuned to these sounds, but it's very loud. And if you're into this kind of thing, it's very cool to have right on your wrist, all in one. For me, the appeal is really about the metronome and just how cool and unique it is. Having a literal timekeeping device on my wrist, that's just stupidly cool. And I know It's kind of a gimmick, but people that are in this industry or into music of any kind, it's just a cool function. It's just so neat and it's super unique. You are not going to see this on any other watch. And of course, outside of being a metronome, it's just a cool looking watch. Sleek, sophisticated, 36 millimeters, so a little bit small, but for a dress watch, it's the perfect size. Now, the band, yeah, it feels a little bit cheap, but on the whole, for the price you're paying, and all the functions that are packed into it, even for a Quartz watch, it's pretty darn cool, and I think it's a good buy. This is the kind of watch that makes me remember why I love watch collecting so much, because yeah, you kind of get into it and you hear, oh, Rolex and Omega, all these huge brands, and you're like, oh, they're so expensive, and that's what makes them so collectible. And that is true, but the great part about watch collecting is that sometimes you come across a piece like this one that just is cool and unique and stands out, and it's not expensive. And that's the beauty of this thing, this passion, this obsession that I have and that other people in the watch collecting world have. It doesn't need to be a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 Rolex. It can be a Seiko, it can be a Timex, it can be a Tudor, it can be anything, as long as it has some meaning to you or resonates with you in some way. That's what it's all about for watch collecting and for me. So that's why I just kind of love this thing. It just looks like a nice, sleek, sophisticated timepiece. It is a little bit hard to read, I will not deny that, and it doesn't have a date function, which I do miss. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on this piece, the Seiko Metronome watch. Definitely worth checking out for yourself if you have the opportunity or the ability to do so. What do you guys think about this watch? Are you with me? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's funky? Do you think it's worth a couple of $100? Let me know down in the comments. Let's have a discussion. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon in the next video.